Okay, very nice. So the new version is the version 2.0. It took us almost 2 years to prepare this update. Until now, the previous version, which was 1.3, was the production version, the released version of our solution. And starting from the 1st of June, just 2 weeks ago, the new version was started to roll out. And right now it is available for all our users across the planet. So we have thousands, hundreds of thousands users of TrueConf for Android applications globally, and it is available for all our users already. So we totally redesigned the application. It's better to say that we totally rewrite the application, rewrote it. So it has very few similarities to the previous version, and to give you a better perspective for the new features, we decided to, first of all, to have a look on the main disadvantages and I would say problems the previous version, the previous generation of our Android application had. So the previous version was available for the last 3 years and until the 1st of June, as I said. And the main problems we faced, like you using that application, are listed on this page, but I will highlight just some of them. The first and most important one is that we were limited to display only up to 9 participants on screen. That means if we have a large conference with more than 9 people on screen, let's say 16, the Android user was only able to see only the first 9 participants who joined this conference with their cameras enabled, nothing else, only the first 9. If other people join that conference with their cameras enabled, Android users won't be able to see them. That was a problem. Now we solved this with the technique called pagination. So we now have a lot of pages instead of a single screen with participants, because we still have the same limitation for mobile device. Mobile devices are not definitely a computer, so they don't have much powerful CPU inside, or if we will use CPU very extensively, it will produce a lot of heat and will drain battery very quickly. So we have to limit the load on the CPU, and we still display up to 9 participants per screen. But now we're able to separate those participants on multiple screens. We call this pages. So now we can swipe between pages to see all people on the screen. That's the first issue which was addressed in the new version. Another big issue was the ability for the user to see the content in the full detail, because before the content stream was displayed as a part of the layout, like other talking heads, like any other participant in the layout. There was no way to make the content larger, so we didn't support the gesture to expand and make larger the content video. So it was very difficult to read the content, to understand the content, because the size of the content was limited to the active layout. There was a workaround for that. For example, to use the video virtual meeting mode with the podium, and we could put only the presenter on the podium. This way, only one participant would be displayed on the screen. It was the only way to see the content in the full detail. Now it is not a limitation anymore, and we are going to cover during this webinar how we addressed this problem and how we did solve it. Another issue was the problem with the messaging, because we understood that most of the users, they use our application not just for conferencing, and today most of the time we open our application on the mobile phone for messaging, because TrueConf server, starting from the version 5.0, which were released earlier this year, is a fully functional corporate on-premise messaging platform with native applications for major platforms like Linux, Windows, macOS, and some other platforms like Android and Android TV. So it is now important when you open the application to show user the latest interactions, latest chats he had with his team, individual participants or conferences or group chats. So there is no point to show the address book on the first place. So we also address this in the new version of our application. So it is now messaging centric, not address book unified communication centric. It is more about asynchronous messaging, message exchanging tasks than about video. There was also some other issues. I'm not going to cover all of them, so I will mention just one. It was very difficult to get on the podium. In the previous version, the notification for you when you invite someone from Android to get onto the podium, it was very difficult for that user to see that invitation because it was very subtle. Very difficult was to notice it, and it was even more difficult to click on it because it disappeared in 3 or 5 seconds. So right now, all those major actions when users and participants change their roles during the conference displayed on the main screen with the dedicated buttons which never are hidden. So every user are able to control the meeting in every state, in every moment, and there is nothing difficult to get on the podium, to step off the podium or invite someone else to the podium. So let's go deeper in the new update. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to the chat, and Rudolf will help me to address your questions while I'm covering the slide. Okay, is everything clear so far? Rudolf, do you have any?
Yes, it's perfectly clear. I think that we are going to read the questions if they will be in the end of the presentation.
Okay,
It will be
thanks.
easier, probably.
No problem. So you have to understand that right now the mobile application is totally synchronized with your account, not with your device. So the same messages, the same chats, the same call history, the same address book are displayed for you on your desktop and on your mobile. So we take care of the synchronization. Even if you are located within your corporate premises, within your private network, we are going to provide you all the essential updates through our servers located in the internet, which maintain connection for push notifications with your mobile application. And you can be absolutely sure that you can receive invitation for calls, for group conferences, or just messages whenever you are in every place on the planet. The only requirement is to make sure that your server, which is installed within your network, is able to send out the push notifications to Google and Apple services using TCP 443 HTTPS port, which is usually open, just out, not backwards. That means, because of this synchronization, that you can be authenticated on both, or not even both, it could be 3 devices. For example, it is your business laptop on your work desk, it is your personal mobile phone, and it is your home PC. And you can use the same TrueConf application, native application, not a browser application, on all those machines, on all those devices, using the same account. And you can start conversation, a conference, exchanging messages with someone on one device and continue on another device, because what you are seeing, messages, files, everything is being synchronized on every device. So you can go to the shop, buy a new device, authenticate using your new mobile phone on TrueConf server, and you will immediately see all your contacts, all your previous conversations with those contacts, everything being uploaded from the server, downloaded from the server while you scroll the list of the chat, while you scroll the list of the messages inside the chat. So we download in the background all your messages, but not from the cloud. This is absolutely secure thing. You are seeing messages and all the information being downloaded from your local server over secured and encrypted channel. So you can have the full control of the communications between devices of your employees and there are no risks that someone in the cloud could overhear your conversation. So new UI was totally redesigned. The first thing to mention is that instead of the contacts, which is still available on the first page of our application, in the top of the application, we always show you the list of the recent activities. Usually activities are personal messages and group chats you are participating in. Sometimes you see the conferences you have participated in, and any moment you can go back to the conference which is ended to see the protocol, to see the messages being exchanged during this conference and see them, or you can continue conversations with your team and with your colleagues, and there is no need to search for them in the address book, because address book is usually arranged based on the alphabet or statuses, while the recent list of the recent activities are always sorted by time of the interaction. So all the most recent interactions are always on top, so you can be sure that you are not missing important conversations because they pop up on the top of your list every time you open the application. It is also important to mention that the application can work in offline environments. So if you don't have internet connectivity, you are still able to see messages being received. You are able to write down replies to the messages to continue the conversation with your parties. And once the internet will be available again, but in our case, it's not always internet, the connectivity to your local server. Once the connectivity to your local server will become available, the application will upload the stacked messages to the server, and it doesn't matter you are online or offline, you can use the application any moment. So if you are in a plane or you're traveling the subway, you can open application and see what messages you have received. We also updated the settings and some other menus, but it is not so important. So let's go further. Rudolf, do we have any questions?
Yes, we actually have from guest 5195. You can write your name, by the way, in chat. And the question is, does TrueConf client share files via chat?
Not yet. This is the very sharp question. Thank you. The client application for desktops, for Linux, for Windows, for Mac, support file sharing. Android application can only receive files. You are able to see the pictures, you are able to download those files being shared in the during conversations, but you're unable to upload them. It will come later. You don't need to wait a long time, so it will be available shortly. So it's just a small feature and important feature which will come very soon to the new version of our Android application.
Thanks.
So we are aware, actually there are a lot of things missing in the messaging platform. And we're going to release in autumn next quarter a massive update for our messaging platform. We actually covered some of the features are going to be presented in this new messaging platform update in the autumn, it will be possible, to, for example, to assign moderators to chat, to pin messages, to make some chat sessions silent, and many other things which are really important, and we know them, and we already developed some of those functions. Let's wait a little bit, and the chat will be more powerful very soon. So you will receive for free the updated functions shortly. But it is also important to understand that we are not using any third-party technology. There is no Jabber server or Matrix server or some other open source project under the hood. All our native applications are using our own protocol, and we introduced to our own protocol all the functions we needed for the messaging. And it is very important because our solution is truly independent. Whatever happens, it will continue to operate within your premises, and nothing could stop it to work because there are no dependencies. We write everything from the scratch. That's important. That's why we don't offer from the initial release of our messaging platform all the features because we're still implementing them, and it will take some time. But already this messaging platform is more powerful than WhatsApp. I mean, in terms of basic communications. So you can delete messages, you can edit messages, you can work in offline environment, you can use our application simultaneously on many devices. So all those features are missing in WhatsApp, for example, but you already can use them in TrueConf. So the messaging functions you can see on this slide. For example, for every message, we can see the delivery status. We can reply messages, we can forward messages, we can select multiple messages by holding your finger over the message. We can tap multiple messages to select multiple messages and forward them. We can edit any message. We can delete messages for yourself. We can also delete your own messages for the remote parties, even in the group chats. And we're going to add more ways to control the messages. For example, moderation of the messages for large chats. We're going to add support for public chats. That means chats that are visible for other parts of for other members of your team, because right now you have to manually invite every member to make chat visible, group chat visible for the participant. So the progress is very quick, and we're adding more features every month to this platform. It is absolutely the same at the moment between Windows application, Linux application, and Android application. And actually, iOS application also provide the same features. If we talk about the group chats, so we introduced the tools to control group chats for Android applications. So now we can create such chats. We can manage the list of the participants of the chat. We can access the list of the files being shared within this chat. And later, we will, in the same interface, we will add support for moderators, access to the history of the chat, and some other features. Because once again, we control the protocol, we control the technology, and we can do whatever we want. So if you have any ideas, what is missing right now, what is important for you, just let us know, and we will make sure to introduce those features to our product. By the way, we have a very nice feedback channel in the Telegram and through our partners. So if you have any ideas how to make TrueConf better, get in touch with your partner or search for TrueConf in Telegram, and our product team, our technical support team will be able to help you and write down your ideas in those chats. Another new thing is about the incoming call window. It is a very important window actually, because it shows you the power of notifications on Android. Because actually, when you try to reach the mobile user, we do not call them, because all mobile applications are always offline. If you are not running TrueConf right now, so we believe that this application is offline. So the only way to make a successful call is to make sure that your server is able to send push notifications to Google and Apple servers, and to the ease of the network administration of this, we introduced our own proxy for push notifications. So you only have to open your server to one location, to one direction where our proxy server for push notification is located, and our proxy server then will send those notifications to Google, Apple, or Huawei, whatever device you are using. And what that means is that, for example, if the application of TrueConf is not running on the participant you're trying to reach, it will receive the notification from Google that we have to wake up TrueConf, and we have to display incoming window, and we have to display on that window who is calling. And for the user, it looks like someone is trying to call me, but actually nobody is trying to call me. We just received the push notification. And once the user accepts the call, after that, our application actually makes a callback. So it calls the server and tell our server that please get in touch with the user who tried to reach me. And from interface, it's absolutely invisible. So you don't have to care about this. take care about everything. And it is pretty complicated task because all our customers, they have their own servers. We're not running any cloud thing. So we have to manage thousands of servers of our customers to make sure those incoming calls and invitations will work. What else we did here is the ability for you to decide, are you going to use the camera during this call? So you can enable and disable the video call feature. So if you move this slide button video call, you will see participants with video. If you enable your camera, that means that other participants will be able to see you. If you disable the microphone, if you mute the microphone, that means that every person will never hear you. So you can control how you will appear once the call starts, once the conference will start, once you join the conference. So you don't need to rush and click buttons once you join the conference, because we understand that the mobile device is a very personal device, and you can be in your home, you can be in some environment you don't want to share with your parties. So there are many ifs, and we have to take care of that by allowing you to control, will your camera will be enabled, will your microphone will be enabled, so you can take care of this. And we also add support for the quick replies. So if you receive an invitation for a call from the individual user, not from a conference, so you can send that user a message like, I'm busy, call me back later, for example. And we will deliver this message to our chat instead of the SMS or whatever. So it will be delivered within our application, and another push notification will be used for this user to deliver him a reply to his chat if he's using a mobile application, or will just show this message in his desktop application at the same time. Okay.
Lev, to see these options from the previous
Mhm.
picture, you need to hand up or you need to click on the chat icon.
You have to click on the most right bottom icon, chat icon, and once you select the message, the quick reply message will hang up for you automatically.
Thanks.
So quick reply actually performs a hang up. Thank you for the question. Okay, so where it's getting more interesting. So the meeting experience was totally updated. So during the meeting, we have two main toolbars. The upper toolbar, which shows you the duration of the call, the name of the conference, and provides you access to the list of the participant and the chat session of this conference. And the bottom part, which is even more important. Using the bottom part, you can control your devices like microphone, camera, speakers, and we know that mobile devices, they have multiple cameras, they have multiple speakers, sometimes they have multiple microphones. The new update allows you to properly select between those modes and to make sure that you are using the most comfortable microphone, most comfortable speaker for you, and most comfortable camera, so you can control all those options. We also please pay attention to the lower part of the lower toolbar. Uh, if you are presenting on the podium, so you are seeing this, and any moment you can click on the button with the person being checked out to leave the podium, or if you are not presenting on the podium, but you are in this meeting, so you can raise your hand, like get onto the podium, request to be presented on the podium, or send the audio replica. It is part of our function for virtual meetings. So all those tasks can easily be accessed from the main window. So you don't need to look for them. You don't need to pursue any any notifications being displayed on the main window like it was before in the previous version of our application. So everything is under your control with direct buttons for most important actions. We also updated the self view. It is also, we believe it is important for you to see yourself all the time. So you can make the self view larger or smaller, and you can disable your camera to hide it. But once your camera is enabled, it is not possible to hide the self view. Why? Because during mobile call, it is important for you to use your self view as a mirror to make sure that your parties are able to see you, because it is very easy to move your camera away from your face, and instead of your face you will transmit to the meetings your background or whatever you have in the area where you're located, in the room where you're located. So the selfie is important to always constantly control your hand to make sure that you are visible uh, for other parties. On Apple devices, we provide support for technology called center stage. That means that AI algorithm is automatically cropping your face from the wide white lenses of the iPad or iPhone. But for Android devices, there are no devices supporting such feature yet on the market. So we are displaying you a self-view. So you have to manually crop yourself. So you have to manually focus on your face using the self view. And over the self view, you can access some additional tools like uh, camera rotation and reactions. So reactions is actually a very nice feature because it allows you to be productive during the meeting without actually being presenting. So instead of using chat, which is not very convenient way to do on mobile device, actually compared to desktop, you can use the reaction. So you can say yes, no, raise your hand, and do other things. And those reactions will be displayed for other participants above your video, and they will notice this. Absolutely sure. We're absolutely sure that they will notice this. So we display them. Uh, we display them like it is presented on the screen. It is also possible to see the reactions in the list of participants. So that's why if you pay attention to the bottom right corner of the screenshot, you see that for this particular meeting on the screenshot, we have 4 participants and 4 people provided some reactions, said yes, no, or raised their hand. So you can see how people are engaged in your meeting using your phone. So you can ask them to vote on something, to provide some feedback, like can you hear me? Are you okay? Etc. So using those reactions. So no need to use chat, no need to get onto the podium, no need to enable your microphone. So you can provide some feedback using this reactions feature, and actually it was always available in our desktop applications. But I believe most efficient way to use it is you're using your phone. We also redesigned the layouts. Before we only had the only one layout. As I said, it was limited to 9 people on screen, like on the right screenshot on this page. So when 10th or 11th participant with his camera enabled or her camera enabled joined the meeting, you wasn't able to see them. Right now, it is possible to switch pages. And if you swipe right, you start to access pages with participants of this call. However, during the meetings, we also have some other important types of information we have to focus on. For example, during large meetings, it is very important to see who is talking. Uh, of course, we highlight the person who is talking in the layout, but it is difficult to see who is talking on the small screen. So we decided to make the home screen. So when you access any meeting, your layout is distributed on 3 parts. The first part is the home screen. Home screen is the place where you see up to 2 people who is talking. It could be 1 person who is speaking, or it could be 2 people who is talking simultaneously, and nothing else. So whatever number of participants are in the call, whatever people are visible during the call, if you stay on the home screen during the meeting, you see the presenter, the person who is talking. If you swipe right, you can see all others, including the person who is talking. However, another important thing to focus on during the meeting is the content. And when any user will start to deliver the content, you can swipe left. And using this gesture, you can access the content screen. It's another mode. So on the content screen, up to 2 content sources could be displayed simultaneously. So if you rotate horizontally your phone, you can see the content and the full details, or you can also use the scale feature. We added the support for scaling for the content, so you can use your zoom, use your fingers to zoom things on your screen. You just click on the content source you'd like to zoom in, and you use your fingers to see it in the more details. So
That was
once
extremely popular request.
it is, but we only provide zooming for slide decks, for slideshows. If you are delivering your desktop, so we do not provide zooming for the desktop, so you have to rotate your screen horizontally. I will show this a little bit later how it looks like. So once again, the home screen is for the current presenters who is speaking. The right side is for other visible participants of the call. There could be invisible participants whose cameras are not enabled, but you can hear them. And the left side, when you swipe to the left, is for the content. And the priority is the following. So when you have a person who is speaking, you see the home screen. Once any user starts to send the content, application automatically switch to the content mode and you see the content. Once the content is being stopped, you are returned automatically to the presenter mode. To the presenter layout, I'm sorry. And any moment you can manually swipe left or right to see the content, the speaking participants and other attendees of the call. So you are having full control, but if you're busy or if you're driving, for example, and this is a very common scenario when you put your phone in your car and you continue conversation using your phone from the car, so you are not allowed to touch the screen. So we manage the layout automatically for you.
So
Okay,
content having the highest priority in case somebody is sharing the presentation, for example.
yes, the first priority is the content. The second priority is any person who is talking, and that's it. You have to swipe right to see other participants, because even if no one is talking, you will see the first person to join the meeting on the home screen. So home screen is limited for 2 users. Okay,
Thanks.
so this slide shows you how we can zoom in any slide during the presentation. Okay, I will show this later. We also put a lot of work to make sure that any layout displayed on your screen utilize the screen state in the most efficient manner. So that means that it is also the true for all other our applications. Instead of the single video with premixed participants, every our application by default receive multiple streams. So we can arrange those streams in any way we'd like to have. So for example, if you have during your call other mobile participants with vertical orientations, we will take care of this and you can see the demo on the screen. So we will always try to fill up your screen with the most efficient layout. So some devices are 16 by 9, have screen 16 by 9. Some mobile devices have screens like 22 by 9. They're taller. Some devices are less taller. So it doesn't matter because you're not limited to 16 by 9 video resolution. So we arrange automatically and provide automatic composition for people in the layout depending on the orientation of their cameras and the resolution of their cameras. It could be different if you rotate your phone to the horizontal mode. Again, we will try to put as much participants on the same screen to totally utilize the available screen state. That's how it works.
There's a question,
Mhm.
a short one. The difference on this slide on the left, we can see that the pictures of person are cut it a little bit. Is there any kind of framing for a stream?
Yes, we a little bit we try to cut a little bit, some small margins to make sure that rectangles are the same size, because otherwise it will look a little bit not ordered, not nice. You can also, I don't have an example here, but I will show you during the demonstration. We also when you have a vertical orientation of the phone, but your participants send you a horizontal orientation, we do not provide you like black rectangles on the background. We try to fill up with a synthesized video on the background of that participant to make it looks in the same colors, in the same tone as the participant itself, to make it looks better in the layout. I will show you this a little bit later. So if you have any ideas how to make it better, just let us know. Another important thing is the compact mode, the floating widget. It is a new feature for Android operating system. It is now also available for browsers, but we designed this for our application to allow people to pay attention to the ongoing conference once they have to switch their attention to other application, to the desktop or maybe another messenger. So when you leave the conference layout, for example, you go to the chat in our application, or you go to another messenger, whatever, or your email client application, we immediately display for you the compact mode. And this compact mode is very simple. So it shows you the person who is speaking right now. And if you tap this small window, it will show self view for you, just for you. So you can tap again to see who is speaking right now. And you can control your camera, you can control your microphone, and you can control your devices using this small window, and you can move it around, of course. The only requirement you have to enable in the operating system for our application the access to display our application on top of other applications. In Android, it is called always on top or something like that. We try to request access for this permission for the user once they leave the conference mode for the first time. But if for some reason it doesn't work, so you can enable this by default manually. Okay. Another new feature, and it is something caused a lot of problems previously, is the slideshows. Because before, slideshows were delivered in the chat. It sounds weird for me, but it is true. So when you participated before, not right now, in the previous version of our application, when you participated in a call and someone show you the content in a separate stream or sent a slideshow, it was displayed in the chat. So it was difficult to go to the chat and go back to the conference. It created a lot of friction. So right now, all content sources are displayed in the layout, as I told you before, with the highest priority. However, it is also possible, starting from this version, to generate slide decks and share the slides right from your phone. So you, instead of capturing your screen, which is also available on Android, you can access your gallery, select the folder, a lot of files, and they won't be immediately transmitted to the call. No, it is not a privacy way. So you can select any folder, and after that we show you the preview of the messages you are going to use to create a slide deck. And you can select all messages or just particular, I'm sorry, not messages, images, all messages or some particular images you'd like to share with your audience, and you can create a slide deck, and after that you can start to broadcast this slide deck. And we provide on the right screen, you can see the controls in the bottom toolbar for the slide deck you just created. So you can stop it, or you can move around to the previous slide, to the next slides, whatever, during this interface. So that brings the power of presentation to your phone. So you can use your mobile application to deliver educational sessions. So you can work with your students, for example. You don't need a PC anymore. You can just use your regular Samsung device to be productive and to send full HD video with slide decks. And we also provide full HD quality for the slides during the meetings right from your phone. Another big update is hidden in the screen sharing window. So of course, we can capture the screen. It is not a new feature. We introduced it a couple of years ago, but now it is also possible to annotate, to draw over the window. So when you start to capture your screen, we are right now allow you to switch to the annotation mode. And I will cover this on the next slide, but please pay attention to the red flag screen sharing below the video in the compact mode. It is very important on mobile device for user to show them that his mobile device or her mobile device is actually being captured. So because very often your mobile phone receive a lot of notifications. Some of them, of course, are personal, and you are definitely don't want for your notifications to be visible for other participants. That's why we strongly and visibly highlight that your screen is being captured. We also recommend for you to enable on your Android phone the not just silent mode, but do not don't disturb mode. In this mode, it is an operating system feature for all Androids. No notifications will appear on your screen, nothing. So if someone will send you the private message, it will never appear on your screen when you have the no disturbed mode enabled in your operating system. So if you can go to the settings of your phone by swiping down the drawer, you will be able to enable it, and we recommend you to do this. The annotation feature is very simple. So when you click on the annotation button, the image of your screen is being frozen. It doesn't update, and you can draw over it. You can select the pen, you can select the color, and you can wipe everything, or you can stop the content sharing. We provide, if you pay attention to the right screen, on the left button with the pen and red cross, you stop the annotation mode, and the red button with the cross inside the smartphone, you stop the content sharing session immediately. So any moment you can stop the content sharing, any moment you can stop annotating, or you can just clear the drawings you made, all on the same floating small widget being displayed above your screen. Also, it is important to know that we do not capture this small widget. Your participants see your annotations, your participants see your screen, but they don't see the settings, they don't see this widget. It is only for you. So we capture it separately on a different layer, like on Windows. We also redesigned the devices button. So you can use the single button to select the best set for your speaker and for your microphone. The single button for all speakers and for all microphones. If you have your Bluetooth headset connected to your phone, we will show you the single button to switch to your headset. It is option number 3 from the top. You see VI C200, for example. If you click here, you will switch to your headset. In some cases, and we totally understand that most of the Bluetooth headsets, they have very poor quality of the microphone. Actually, those headsets, small headsets, microphones are actually terrible. So it is better in some cases, for example, in noisy environment. It could be a train or let's say a plane or whatever, some open space or the street. It is better to use built-in microphone inside your phone. So we allow you to use your headset as a speaker while the microphone would be used on your phone itself. So you can play around to select the best option for your remote audience. And of course, like before, you can, with a single tap, switch from the loudspeaker and the ear speaker. You just have to click on this button. We're almost over the slide deck. One of the last things, this thing was available before, just to remind you that the scheduler, the piece of the application which allows you to create virtual rooms and conferences is built into the application. So you don't need to go to your personal area. You don't need to go to the web page of your TrueConf server to make a recurring meeting or new meeting or meeting accessible by link. So you can create scheduled conferences of all types within your application. It is the same actually. It's actually absolutely the same scheduler like in our desktop application, but it has the adaptive mobile UI. And the last thing, we also provide support for dark and light mode. So you can select either to use light mode, either to use dark mode, or just to follow system settings. So if your mobile device is going to the dark mode automatically when it's become dark, so the same will happen to our applications. So you won't be blinded by the bright UI of our application. And we also provide you a way to select the colors. Instead of the cyan color by default, you can select another one to bring some personal attitude to the application. So it could be black or blue, whatever color you like. So you can select the color them, and we will adjust all application icons and the UI to the color you have selected. Okay. Another slide. So it is also possible to share the contacts. Well, this case is important mostly for larger deployments when our customers have multiple servers, and because every server could be federated with other servers, and what is most importantly, every server could be federated with the server of the customer. So very few users of TrueConf are aware of this, but actually every TrueConf deployment is capable to provide seamless connectivity using chat, statuses, messages, video calls, video conferences with any other, absolutely any other TrueConf deployment. We maintain, when you register our product, you select the server name. So we maintain the list of unique server names for all our customers. So every user on every server of our every customer has the unique ID. We maintain this uniqueness by default. So if you know the full ID of any user on any remote server and your servers are federated together, you can access them. So this feature allows you, for example, to send the contact information for your colleague of some other person who are, for example, registered on some remote server, because you are not able to find him in your contact list because your contact list is limited to your local server, for example. So for larger deployments, this is a useful feature. And we also added support for more features in the settings. So if you download from the Google Play our application, you will be able to play around to select some features and disable them, enable them. So what we recommend you to do is to try to enable the hardware acceleration for video encoding and audio encoding. By default, on most smartphones, we disable hardware encoding because hardware encoders usually provide poor video quality because the bitrate is not being adjusted in the real time, or video could be encoded with some artifacts. So it depends on the phone. You have to remember that Android is not Apple. So we have thousands of different phones on the market, and most of them has different version of Android operating system. So this is crazy. So we have to maintain compatibility with thousands of different devices. So by default, we try to disable this hardware encoding, but you can try to enable it, and it will help you to improve the battery life. Already, we have a great battery usage. So this new version is a way better, 3 times better in terms of battery usage than the previous one. But if you enable hardware acceleration, it will be even more effective. So that's it. I will stop to share my screen, and it's time to capture my phone. Okay. Just a moment.
The most interesting part. In the meantime, probably I can ask also some questions, which I also received before. We discussed the annotations and drawing. So the question is, when we do recording, we record the content sharing, but is annotation also recorded?
Yes, annotations will be recorded on the server, and annotations will be recorded by other participants who are using recording feature in the client application, because the annotations is actually part of the content. So we freeze your screen, and whatever you see is being recorded as well. So there is no way to record anything you don't see. So
That's
we can
perfect.
only record what you're seeing. Okay, just a moment. I will start to share my screen once again. Just a moment. Here we are. I have a special nice application called Visor. So I have my phone connected. Let's wait a little bit. Oop, here we are. Okay, I will close this. So now you can see my phone. It's some not very new Samsung smartphone, and I will open our application. Now you can see once I open it, it's happened very quickly. Just and we are in. So what I'm seeing right now, and by the way, the application will update its state in the background, so you don't have to wait for new messages to come while application is being loaded. So application is always opened very quickly, and all updates will come later. So any new messages, new files, whatever will will be updated in real time once the application is open. So there is no lag. The feedback is immediate, and immediately we see the list of recent activities. I'm connected to the demo server, and that's why the list here is very unusual. Usually for your customers, here will be a lot of messages, personal messages, messages from group chats, finished conferences, whatever. But here I have only finished conferences because I used this for demonstration. And we can close this list and access the address book. I just I click on a recent tab, and the recent activities are being collapsed and the contacts appear, and we can see our contacts like before here. But once again, the main purpose of this application is to be connected with your team by means of messages, not conferences, because we use messages more often than conferences. Okay, let's me create a conference. So I click on a plus button, and here I have to select the type of action I'd like to perform. I definitely don't want to create a new group chat. In our life, we have too many group chats, so I wish we have less group chats, but I'd like to create a conference. So I go to this page, and it is very similar to the desktop application of TrueConf. So I can select the type of the conference I'd like to create. And once again, the new version of Android application allows you to control roles and modes of every conference mode. So everything is under your control. You don't have to worry. It will be different from your desktop. So you can use all the same features on your Android and on your Windows machine, for example. So here I have to add more participants. So let's add some participants. And now we can see them here. And let's start the call. And immediately I'm seeing the person who is speaking. Please pay attention here on a small home icon in the lower part of the window. So this is the main screen in our layout. We are seeing who is speaking. If I swipe to the right, I will see other participants during this call. So we have 5 other people in this call besides me, and if we had more of them, I would be able to swipe further up to 7 pages, because our current limitation in our system is 49 people on screen. That means if we distribute them on the pages, it could be, depending on the how powerful the device is, it could be 6 to 8 pages or 7, I don't remember. So it depends on the power of your smartphone, because some smartphones are only able to decode up to 4 streams, some are able to decode up to 9 streams. So that's why, for example, my device are able to decode up to 9 streams, and I can see this layout. I can drop someone from the call. If I press for a long time on any participant, I will access the menu for this participant, and I can disconnect it. And immediately my layout is being adjusted to fill up the screen in the most efficient manner. And if I rotate my screen, the magic will happen, and this is very cool. So if you are using your smartphone in your car, this is usually how I connect during the meeting. So I drive a lot, so I put on the magnet my screen, my phone, and I'm using the Bluetooth of my car, and I can communicate with my colleagues without touching anything, using this mode with a horizontal orientation. And because the resolution of nowadays mobile devices are very high, it is so good. So I can see the quality is amazing. Every person in full detail. It depends on your connectivity, but we are not limiting the quality. In our conferences, the quality on the desktops is not limited. It could be up to 4K. In some cases, with the powerful machines, it could be 8K. On mobile devices, the quality is up to 1080p in the full HD. This is a very nice quality. It is very difficult to achieve such quality in Microsoft Teams or Zoom session, but in TrueConf using your own server, it happens all the time. It's very easy to have amazing quality during the call. I will rotate screen once again and show you how to access the chat session. I click on the screen, toolbars will appear, and I have to select the chat session on the top. I have to invite my colleague, so I will go to the participant session, and from the participant tab, I can manage devices of participants. I can assign different roles. I can disconnect or access profile of every user. I can also see the list of people who are being disconnected from the call, didn't receive the invitation for some reason, didn't reply to the invitation for some reason. So it's the same way we display the list of participants in desktop application. And here I can click on the plus button to invite other people to the call. It could be phone users, it could be TrueConf users, it could be your room equipment, it could be Cisco endpoint, Poly endpoint, whatever you have, because we provide the full support for SIP protocol and free-to-free protocol for interoperability with the existing video conferencing systems you might have. And once again, everything on your own server. So I have to add my colleague, Dmitry. Just a moment, I will search for him. Okay, Dmitry, where you are. I don't see you. Oh, finally I find you. Okay. So Dmitry joined our call. This is important. I'll show you why. So I go back to the chat, and now Dmitry will help me to exchange messages. So I will say hello. Pay attention that we also provide full support for emojis on the desktop and mobile application. And Dmitry will provide me a reply. So it's just not a regular message, but a reply. So I will see the conversation topic. I see the message being replied to. This is very important because when you have a personal conversation, it's usually not a problem. But when you have a conversation within a group chat and many people exchange their messages, so it's very difficult to get the idea of the conversation, to follow the conversation. So it's nice to provide replies. To make a reply, you have to click on any message and click on reply, and I can reply to his message as well. I can also edit any message. This is something I'm missing in WhatsApp, so I can, again, click on the message, click on the edit, and I can rewrite it once again, and it will be updated for all participants simultaneously. I can delete any message. For example, I decided that this message is not intended for this user, or I changed my mind. Once again, I click on it and delete, and I have an option to delete it just for me, and I can also delete for the other party or all other participants during the meetings. Of course, I'm not able to delete messages from other users. I can only delete my own messages. And of course, we can select multiple messages. Press a long tab and then single taps to other messages to copy them to the clipboard or forward them to other user. This is how it works. We do not provide support to upload files at the moment. However, it will be added very soon. And we also, once again, we have the compact mode. So while we exchange messages, and believe me, once we release this messaging platform in our product, so I'm using this all the time. So it is very useful because I could be in the meeting with one group of people while exchange messages with a totally different people. And this compact mode helps me a lot to maintain connectivity with my team during any meetings. So I'm not limited to the chat session of this meeting. I can continue conversation with any user, and I just need to double click on this widget to go back to the conference. This is how it works. Another important thing is the content. Dmitry, could you please share your screen? Dmitry will share his screen, and you will see that the content will appear on my phone. I see the notification that participant is showing his screen, and the best way to receive the content is to go to the horizontal orientation, and now I can see Dmitry's desktop. And because the resolution of my screen is higher than Full HD, I can see it in full details. And of course, we provide scaling. So if your connectivity is not so good, we will scale the video of the content to make sure it will fit your bandwidth. And if we go to the separate content streams, it is possible to deliver the content and video of your head in a separate streams in our system. So I can switch now. So it could be Dmitry who is talking, Dmitry's content, and other people in the call, all in the same meeting. I just need to swipe around. This is how it works. And for the content, I can scale around. So once I click on the content, I can, with my fingers, move it around to make it larger. If I don't see much details, I can move it with my fingers. And I can click on the cross icon to exit the zooming session and go back to the call. Okay, I will rotate once again. And now it is my turn to share my screen. So I have to tap on the screen to bring the menu and click on the three buttons and select the screen sharing. We always, it is not our requirement, but we are totally agree with this. It is a requirement of the Google that user have to provide permission every time the content of your screen being recorded. This is very important thing, as I told you, because the phone is a very personal device. So every time you have to provide your agree, you have to accept this to start the content sharing. So I am accept this. Now my screen is being switched to the desktop and our application is being minimized. So I can move around our application. I can expand the widget to see myself, or I can click on my video to see other people who is speaking during this call. So right now, if I move around, open browser, whatever, I can send my content to other participants of the call. If I rotate my screen, for example, in the browser, other participants will see my content in a nice horizontal orientation with more details, because for desktops, it is almost useless to provide content in the vertical orientation. We can also provide create some annotations above the content. So I click on this annotation button once again. Here it is, the pen icon. And now I can select the pen. Let's select the red one and the medium sized. Okay, and now I can create any annotations. And it is not possible to open other applications to move around. We fix the screen, so you can draw above any type, any part of the screen. And we can clear this by clicking on the trash bin icon and change, for example, the color and continue drawing. And this has been recorded, this has been delivered for all other parties. So any moment I can end annotation, and any moment I can end screen sharing. If you, okay, I will go back to the conference. If you would like to deliver the content from your phone in the full size, in the horizontal orientation, without capturing your screen, now it is possible to create the slide decks right from the application. So I go to the slideshow option, and now I have to select some images. I will select these two images and create a slideshow for them. Once I start the slideshow, uh, I can change slides here. So wherever I am in the application, I control the slide deck. So I can see my pupils, I can see my colleagues and change slides for them. At any moment, I can stop the slide deck and I can enable it again because I created the slide deck before. Oop. So this is the new version of TrueConf for Android. So we a little bit out of our time frame. It is 7 minutes past 8 here, and I will stop this conference. If you have any questions, it is the right time to ask them, and I will stop to share my screen as well.
Thanks, Lev. In the meantime, I was checking the news regarding the promised features for Android 2.0 from the end of 2029. And I think that we should celebrate it because we kept all the promises for this version.
Wow,
And
that's cool.
the question is, shall we expect also a webinar related to the upcoming version for iOS?
Of course, the current version of iOS application provides almost the same functions except for annotations. The pagination, messaging functions. The only problem with the iOS application at the moment is a little bit outdated UI, the design. So interface will be updated, but it takes some time. We have a dedicated team. We almost double the size of this team to deliver more updates for the iOS platform. So let's wait a little bit. Next quarter, the iOS application will be updated as well. So it will be so good as Android application is already is. So let's wait a little bit, but from functional point of view, it is very similar already.
Okay, thank you, Lev. And it seems that there are no more questions for the moment.
Good. Okay, the recording of this webinar will be available for our customers and for our partners on the YouTube. We are going to be very soon, I believe, we are going to be on Infocom in India. So if you are our Indian partners or customers, we'll be happy to see you in Mumbai in September. And we just received the confirmation for JITEX. So in October, if you will be in Dubai, we'll be on JITEX show as well. So we'll be happy to see you in person. But meanwhile, we're still here, so feel free to get in touch with us and provide us any feedback. And thank you for your time, and we wish you a nice evening and or day. And once again, thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Lev, and
Thank you,
goodbye,
Rodolfo.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.